guys, it's your girl Frankie here, and today we are talking about porosity. Yes, I'm going to make this as easy and as simple as I possibly can because it can be a bit confusing. But before we start, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I don't know what you're waiting on, honey, but we got a lot of information here at this channel. A lot of fun goes on. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you are returning, then welcome back to my channel. So yes, we will be going over the three types of porosity, hair porosity, and I have about 3 questions for you to help kind of narrow down and to determine your hair porosity. So if you're interested in finding out your hair porosity, then just keep on watching. So when it comes to hair porosity, things can get a tad bit confusing. So I'm here to kind of break it down in a simple way because I feel like when you watch these hair porosity videos, yeah, it's just a lot of information at one time to try to determine your hair porosity. So I'm just going to get you started. This is one-on-one, super easy, to the point video, okay? Because, you know, I don't like to waste a lot of time, y'all. So let's go ahead and get on started. So you have 3 types of porosity. You have low porosity, you have medium porosity, and then you have high porosity. So I got 3 questions for you, and if whatever category you fit, I will let you know, like if you're high or low porosity. But basically with low porosity, you have, okay, so you have these cuticle shingles on your strands of hair. And disclaimer, I am not a professional, I am not a hair stylist, none of that, but these are just some things that I have researched or that I know of my own hair. And I do have some mini twists going on here. As you can see, I mini and twisted it up just so I don't keep messing in my hair and just kind of let it do its thing. But anyways, so with low porosity hair, your shingles on your hair are very tightly closed, okay? And I will insert a picture somewhere on the screen for you to actually see a hair strand. So it is closed, so it's very hard for moisture to get in, but it is easier for your strands to keep the moisture in once you have mastered how to get the moisture inside of your strands, okay? So moisture is easily in, but does not easily come out, which is a wonderful and great thing when it comes to low porosity. Medium porosity, your hair is doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing, okay? So it allows moisture in, it get rid of what it don't need, it know how to hold on to moisture. Like, you guys are the envy of natural hair right now, okay? Because you don't have to do much. It's very low maintenance. You don't really have to worry about is moisture getting into your hair because your hair already knows how to do it. So your shingles are exactly how they're supposed to be, partially open. You know, they know how to seal it in, seal the moisture in, okay? With high porosity hair, your shingles are lifted, very, very lifted, very wide open. You have probably some missing cuticles, missing shingles. You know, you're probably missing some things within your hair shaft. So it's easy for moisture to get in, but it's also easy for moisture to get out. So it's hard to keep your hair hydrated when you have high porosity hair. So your hair tends to look fairly dry if you do not know how to seal your hair properly. So with this series of porosity 101, I will make separate videos about high porosity and low porosity. I want to do medium porosity, but at the same time, you guys don't have any problems like the rest of us in this world. So I may not do a medium porosity hair video. I might just kind of add it in this video, but we will see, right? So here are my questions for you. When you get in the shower, and I'm using the shower for example, if you're washing your hair in the shower. If you get in the shower and saturate your hair, how long does it take for your hair to be completely saturated with water? If it takes 1 to 5 seconds, then you have high porosity hair because your hair is just going to soak up that moisture really, really quickly. If it takes 8 or more seconds for your hair to be completely saturated, then you have a low porosity hair. Anything in between, you have medium porosity hair. And I'm talking about using warm water in order to saturate your hair. Okay, no ice cold water, y'all. And the second question, when you get out of the shower, apply your products. How long does it take your hair to air dry? Okay, so if you're doing a wash and go, how long does it take your hair to air dry? And that's just an example because I know you put products in, you usually let it dry unless you use a blow dryer, but that's another topic. So when you let your hair air dry, if it takes 4 or less hours, you have high porosity hair. If your hair is 100% dry within 4 hours, you have high porosity hair because your hair, again, has soaked up all that moisture. And yeah, it is probably screaming for more moisture at this time. If your hair takes all day, 8 or more hours to dry, then you have a low porosity hair because your hair is having a hard time soaking in that moisture in order to dry your strands, okay? Anything in between, you have medium porosity hair. Lucky you. Okay, so the third question is, when you wear a wash and go, do you find that your hair tangles easily? Do you find a lot of single strand knots? Is your hair on the finer side of things? So density and hair thickness are two completely different things, which can be a completely different video, but I'm going to quickly explain it in this video. So when you have density is the amount of hair strands on your hair. The thickness is the actual thickness of a strand of hair. Okay, so a lot of people get that confused and say, oh, she has a lot of hair on her head. Her hair must be thick. No, not necessarily. A lot of high porosity hair tends to be on the thinner side. On the thinner side. So even if you have a lot of hair, our strands tend to be thinner. Okay, we don't have very thick strands, and our hair gets easily tangled and knotted up. And that's why I asked that question, because if your hair gets tangled, easily tangled and get a lot of single strand knots and get knotted up a lot, then a lot of times you have high porosity hair because the shingles are so lifted that when they glide past each other, they get stuck on each other, which causes the good old tangle and single strand knots we all do not like. Okay, and if you have low porosity hair, you're not going to have those type of issues. Your hair is not going to be easily tangled. You might get some tangles here and there, maybe when you need to clip your ends or something like that, but it's not to the extreme. It doesn't happen a lot, and you are your hair probably loves wash and goes, and that's because your strands can just kind of glide past each other. You don't have any lifted cuticles. It's all just kind of sealed, tightly shut. So your hair can glide past each other. A thing you will notice if you have low porosity hair, your hair tends to be a lot shinier and look a lot healthier. With high porosity hair, it can become dry very quickly. And that is when sealing comes into play. You want to use the LCO method with high porosity hair, which is liquid, cream, and oil. You want to seal with the oil because that will keep the moisture in your hair. And then low porosity probably will benefit from the lock method. So liquid, oil, cream. But of course you want to play around with it and see what your hair likes, because nobody's hair is exactly alike. So keep that in mind when thinking of hair porosity. Now, I want to tell you, when it comes to porosity, low porosity, you benefit from heat. So you will benefit from deep conditioning under heat. When you're washing your hair, you want to use warm to hot water. High porosity, you really don't necessarily need heat in order to achieve a good deep condition. Like, your hair is going to soak it up anyways. You don't really need to use hot water when washing your hair because your cuticles are already lifted, okay? So you don't have to, really too much apply heat when it comes to deep conditioning and washing your hair. Now, I wanted to touch on something that a lot of people don't talk about, but you can have a mixed porosity hair. You can have high and low porosity in your hair. With high porosity, they say it is caused by damage, heat damage, chemical damage, things like that. But in reality, if your hair grows out of your head and it's high porosity, then you just have high porosity hair. So we're going to get that myth right out the window. You do not have to have any type of damage in order for your hair to be high porosity. It might just be genetics, and that's just how your hair is. You can have two. Like I said, you can have two. You can have high porosity on the ends of your hair and have low porosity on the roots of your hair. And that is because if you do get your hair dyed, or you do do a lot of heat damage, when your hair grows out, if your natural hair is low porosity, then naturally this is going to be low porosity. This is going to be high porosity because this is where the damage has taken place to your hair. So if you did the questions and it, you know, when you get in the shower and it doesn't take long for the ends of your hair to get saturated, but it takes a minute for the top or the roots of your hair to get saturated, then you have two types of porosity, which you can get rid of if it's caused by heat damage or something like that, or chemical damage. You could cut off the damaged ends to make all of your hair, you know, low porosity if that's how it naturally comes out of your scalp. But if you have high porosity naturally, then I really don't know how to reverse high porosity if that's your genetics and that is how your hair naturally comes out of your scalp. So, you know, if you guys know, comment that down below because I'm very, very interested in that. But yeah, so that's pretty much just the gist of porosity. If you have any questions, comments, or, you know, go ahead and list your porosity down below and what do you do in order to keep that moisture in. Let us know in the comment section. Definitely share this video with other naturals. Hopefully I made it easy enough for you to kind of determine your porosity. Give this video a thumbs up because it lets YouTube know you enjoyed this content. And, you know, definitely subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed. But that's pretty much it on Porosity 101. But I will get individual videos up going a little bit more detail about high porosity and low porosity. So, and probably mixed porosity because a lot of people can have two different type of porosities on their head. But definitely, you know, stay tuned for those other videos coming up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.